Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this, which is the DELACK enclosure. My company 3D Sorcerer sells this as a kit, and in the kit it includes plexiglass, the nuts, the bolts, the magnets, memory stick, a LED light, and a couple of other things. So really all that you need to build this and a couple extras. It fits perfectly on my IKEA LACK table, so if you have an old LACK enclosure, then it'd be great for you to DELACK and purchase one of these. So hopefully that's something that you'll consider. And if you do decide to purchase one of these, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate your support, and we put a lot of time and effort into this, and hopefully that'll show once you start using it. So thank you for taking time to watch, and hope you enjoy. As you can see here, one benefit of the DELACK enclosure is that it creates a more stable printing environment where the internal temperature is around 80 degrees. This increased temperature will reduce warping while you're printing. The DELACK also reduces the noise the printer makes by about 10 decibels, from about 60 decibels to 50 decibels in this very simple test. Remember that decibels are measured on a log scale, so this is a pretty noticeable reduction in volume. If you're interested in the DELACK enclosure kit, you can find it at 3dsorcerer.com or on our Amazon store. It's priced at $120, which includes free shipping with Amazon Prime. The assembly guide that I'll be following for this video is on the website as well, so be sure to check that out because it also shows some alternative parts that you might be interested in for your setup. As far as print settings go, please do not use supports when printing the parts for the DELACK. Anywhere that needs supports has custom supports built into the model. We recommend a 0.2mm layer height with the default 15% infill. You can use PLA, PTG, or any other material for these parts. Print number 1 assembly. We'll start by adding the rubber plugs to the feet. These plugs fit pretty tight, but they'll go in eventually. I found that twisting the plugs as you push them into the hole helps. The flat side of the plug should be facing down like this. Next, add the nuts to the feet and then place them onto the bottom of the two side panels. Make sure that you're putting them on the edge that does not have the two holes in the middle. Now we'll add the top corner parts. Go ahead and add the nuts here as well. If you have any trouble adding nuts to a part, use this trick where you thread a bolt on the other side and tighten it down. That will pull the nut into the hole. For right now, I just add 2 nuts to each of the top corner pieces. With the nuts installed, go ahead and add the top corner pieces to the corners opposite of the feet. Repeat the process for the side corner parts. The 2 side panels should look like this once you're done. Print number 2 assembly. We'll start by setting the front middle support part out of the way for now because it'll be used in the next step in the assembly. Now add the doorknob to the door panel using 2 nuts and 2 bolts. Then the last thing to do is to add the bottom wire cover to the back plexiglass panel. Print number 3 assembly. Now it's time to add your nameplate to the DELACK. Insert the nameplate piece into the front middle support from the previous step and add that part to the door frame panel. Print number 4 assembly. Next, we'll add the middle support pieces to the 2 side panels and the back panel of plexiglass. There are some alternative versions of this part, but for the sake of this video, we'll put it together with the standard ones. Intermission. Wall assembly. Now it's time to assemble the 4 walls of the enclosure. Start with the corner and add 3 bolts to join the 2 panels together at each of the 3 corner parts. Repeat this process for the other walls until you have all 4 sides of the enclosure completed. Print number 5 assembly. Start by removing the supports from the hinges using some needle nose pliers. Then you can assemble the hinges with the included dowel rods. Remember that the opening to the dowel rod should face upwards so that gravity doesn't pull the pan out over time. If you have trouble inserting the dowel rod, use the side of your needle nose pliers to push it into place. After assembling the hinges, add them to the front panel. These will fit tight because we didn't want the door to sag, so the tightening process should be a little more difficult than the other bolts. Now it's time to hang the door. We recommend adding the bottom bolt first because you can let the other end of the door rest on the surface of the table or in your lap as you tighten the bottom bolt. Once that bolt is secure, add the topmost bolt to the other hinge to suspend the door before adding the remaining bolts. Print number 6 assembly. Adding the magnets can be a little tricky. Just make sure that they attract each other before you push them into place. Using the side of some needle nose pliers or some other magnetic tool is a big help when pressing the magnets into place. After you've added all the hardware to the latches, add them to the door frame and to the door. Print number 7 assembly. Now we'll need to rotate the enclosure around to get to the back so we can add the fan hole cover. Use the 4 nut spacers and the 4 bolts to attach it to the back panel. Now is also a good time to dust and clean the enclosure before adding the top. Finishing touches. Before adding the printer into the enclosure, run your cable through the back like this. Your printer should fit through the top if you insert it at the right angle. Once it's in position and plugged in, you can add the top panel to the enclosure. With the top installed, you can also add those top nuts to the top corner pieces if you want to bolt the top panel into place, but I prefer just inserting the bolts without the nuts so it's easier to take the top off. Now you can add rubber plugs to the top and back holes that you won't be running filament through. Print number 8 assembly. I highly recommend printing the corner guards. They really complete the enclosure and are a safety feature that covers the sharp corners created by the plexiglass panels. Now your DELACK enclosure is complete. turn on the printer and get to printing. The DELACK fits great on an IKEA lack table, so you can reuse the table from one of your old lack enclosures when you DELACK. I can't wait to see the different color combinations and accessories that y'all make for it. Be sure to tag 3D Sorcerer once you complete your build. I'd also recommend checking out the website for over 15 different accessory prints for the DELACK, as well as this video on assembling the LED light that comes included with every DELACK kit. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the DELACK enclosure.